Hey everybody, welcome back to Kentucky Traditional Leather and Forge. I'm William Smith and I'm going to be showing you guys today how to make a traditional blacksmith's fire. The fire that I got here in this forge is already started, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up the Traveler's Forge today in a technique that I was showed by Jim Rich. This technique does not use any paper, starting fluids or anything like that. What we do is we kind of utilize the traditional techniques that a blacksmith utilizes in his everyday work to kind of carry on to what we got to do to start our work, for it. And what that involves is being able to utilize a draw knife on wood to set down and make the handles for the tools that we utilize. The shavings that come from from using a draw knife on a piece of wood, allows us to kind of like repurpose some of the work that we do and start this instead of paper itself. This is basically where I like to sit down and use it. I don't have a wood desk or anything like some of the woodworkers would utilize. So as a blacksmith, I utilize my post vise, and so that for safety purposes, I utilize a box for catching all my shavings in, so that when I bend down, I don't try to stand back up and hit myself on the board. As with every job that blacksmith does, he tries to utilize the right tool for the right job, and I utilize my medium-sized draw knife as opposed to my large draw knife or my spoke shaver. The spoke shaver would be for small fine work. The large draw knife would be for like removing bark or for something that would be larger size. So let me show you guys how to do this. By putting the box right up underneath where I'm going to be working, this is what kind of catches the shavings. Utilizing the draw knife to try to go from the full size of the board back to myself, I'm going to pull the shavings as long and as good as I can. I'm not going to, if you want to say rough it or try to do something really hard and heavy. I'm going to try to use the grain of the wood with good even strokes coming, and I'm going to set down, utilize the left side, the top side, and the right side, or sometimes I may utilize the right side, the left side, and then come back on the center as I make my strokes. So let me show you. What I'm doing right here is, as I'm drawing, the grain coming up, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't hit myself, and I'm kind of creating a small little saddle in this, so I'm kind of coming and getting my edge part so that I keep going with the grain of the wood. Now this technique is great for during winter time. You actually come out to the shop, and like mine, it's an open air shop. You don't have any heat out here. One of the nice things about doing this in order to create a fire, it kind of keeps you a little bit warmed up. It also fills up your box onto it, if just in case you don't have any of the wood shavings. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up filling up this box so that we can transverse over to the Traveler's Forge. While I do that, I'm going to put a block of wood in this one to keep it going, because I got to come back to this one for a little bit of work later. So as I fill this up, join me back at the Traveler's Forge. Hey everybody, I'm back here at the Traveler's Forge, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize Flint Steel in order to make a spark onto char cloth, and I'm going to use a bird's nest that I've collected that has a little bit of charcoal dust into it, in order to start the fire, with this, I'm going to utilize the wood shavings that I've, had just made to help me get some charcoal started, and then I'm going to utilize, the charcoal in order to add myself some, wet coal to this and build myself up to a coal-based fire, onto it. We're going to keep the, camera running on this to let you guys, kind of know that this is possible. And when Jim Rich taught me this, I was very, very nervous about being able to do it. I learned about 12 years ago on how to do this, and over time of constantly, demonstrating this or utilizing it here in my shop, I've gotten a little good at it. And now that I've said that, it's probably going to sit down and prove to be a little complicated. So let's see how this goes. Okay, starting the spark. Got me a hard cot. I'm going to drop it in. Okay, got my flames. Moving over here. Get the charcoal started. Okay, as I got the charcoal started, I'm going to kind of push it to the center here. Make sure I got it. Okay, come around. Now I'm adding the coal wet because the water is going to wash off all the charcoal dust. And I kind of do it in a U shape because from this direction here is where I'm going to have all my steel going into the fire. For the coal, I'm utilizing a ladle. It's got some holes into it. Now what this kind of fire will do is it'll make sure that my coal, seasons a little bit, as it's taking up, and all the impurities from the coal, like the sulfur, different things like that, are going to steam off, and the closer that I've got to the fire, basically that'll turn to charcoal first. So I'm going from coal to charcoal, basically all I'll go from here is pushing everything into the fire base. Just because it's wet doesn't mean it won't steam off and I won't be able to use it. Now if I do too much pumping of the bellows here, it's just basically going to be a waste of fuel. But as you guys can see, I've still got charcoal right here in the center. My wood's burned down. Now that I move it in a little bit closer, you guys can see the heavier smoke that's coming off, and that's the bituminous coal here, which is the soft coal, and it's basically burning off or pulling away a lot of the sulfur. This is the smoke that you don't really want to breathe in. Still maintaining my opening right here where I'd be feeding the metal. As you guys can see, the fire's kind of growing a little bit. The charcoal or the coal rocks are right there coming in on the sides. So they're starting to catch. Okay guys, just to kind of prove a point here, this fire, got a piece of metal in there right now. Okay, there it is, hot enough to heat up a piece of steel. There is a little bit of charcoal still left in there, but now what I'm doing is I'm moving the coal, as the main item, being burned. Okay guys, I think this is a pretty good demonstration on being able to start a fire from scratch, to be able to set down and raw coal that has not been started in a fire, basically from flint steel strike, catching a spark on a piece of char cloth, starting a bird's nest that then we utilize to start wood shavings. We have a pretty good amount of wood shavings to where we get a good fire started, and then we utilize charcoal to burn from there. We set everything up so that we have a we're basically setting ourselves up for success by putting the coal wet around the edges onto it. We have our main fire base going onto it, have enough going so that the coal has time to basically season all the way to a full coal fire. Okay. Well, guys, I want you to kind of think about starting your fires this way. And the nice thing about this is it gives you a full base of understanding your fires, not having to utilize paper, learning how to use a tool like a draw knife, understanding going from one aspect to another in order to get to your coal fire. Okay. This is what I was taught, and it's my privilege to have been taught by Jim Rich to be able to sit down and show you guys how to do this. And be sure to try to follow, as you can, and we will start trying to utilize this fire in order to make more and more projects. Thank you very much.